Welcome, everyone. So wonderful to see all of your happy faces. We're going to get started now, but the first thing I want to ask is for you to look at your pocket calculators and make sure that they are silenced before we get started. And I would like you all to rise for the national anthem sung by the St. John's College Chorus.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was absolutely beautiful. Good afternoon. My name is Marty Acosta. I serve as chair of the Trustee and Governance Committee of the St. John's College Board of Visitors and Governors. And as you can see, I am not Pam Saunders-Albin, who is in your program. Unfortunately, she's under the weather, and I'm stepping in to take her place. But she sends her congratulations to President Sterling on this historic day. And I know she's watching and cheering from home, so get well soon, Pam. It's my pleasure to welcome you today as we celebrate the inauguration of the Santa Fe campus's 8th president, J. Walter Sterling. Let me start with a big thank you. Thank you to all of our honored guests, our friends, students, faculty, staff, and alumni who are joining us here, both virtually and from near and far. And we are very grateful for the generosity of alumni and friends whose gifts have fully funded this weekend's celebrations and endowed new scholarships for our students in honor of this very special occasion. I also want to thank our entire Board of Trustees for your support, especially Board Chair Warren Spector, there's Warren, for his leadership, and Karen Pritzker and the J. Pritzker Foundation for their transformational gift to renovate this student center. Yesterday, we held a ribbon cutting, and as you can see, the building is already pulsing with excitement, and it will remain the center of campus life for decades to come. And of course, thank you, Walter, not just for your willingness to step into this new role, but for the countless ways that you have impacted this college during a quarter of a century career here. You don't look a day over 27. I cannot think of anyone who has more passion for this unique program of instruction or greater institutional knowledge or longer firsthand lived experience, literally from birth until today, which enables him to articulate the value of this education better than anyone. Walter is spending a lot of his time right now doing just that, amplifying the excellence of this remarkable education to audiences who don't know us well. And his efforts are working. We have accolades and congratulations coming from around the world, including Mayor Yuk Dan-han, mayor of Chuncheon, South Korea, who says of our distinctive program, rather than imparting ready-made answers, your institution has cultivated the capacity for reflection and reasoned judgment. The depth and dignity of this educational philosophy has resonated with educators around the world. The mayor's full remarks are posted on the college's inauguration website. In addition to officially establishing an academic partnership between St. John's and the city of Chuncheon, President Sterling also signed the college's first international student exchange agreement with Boya College at Sun Yat-sen University in China. Walter made strategic decisions to offer expanded Graduate Institute programs online, as well as to launch the first new master's degree program offered by the college in 30 years, a master's in Middle Eastern classics. In addition, Walter, In addition, Walter is elevating the St. John's story onto the national stage by making the case for why this college is uniquely suited in the age of AI. I graduated from the Annapolis campus in 1992 and have lived in Santa Fe for 26 years, if I include the time I spent studying on this campus. I know firsthand just how transformative the St. John's education is, not just for students and alumni, but for the Santa Fe community and the entire state of New Mexico. Not only were Walter and I undergraduate students together, and Walter's father was my junior year seminar tutor, I also share Walter's enthusiasm for deepening the ties between our beloved college and our chosen city. That is why I am especially proud to introduce our next speaker. Mayor Michael J. Garcia is a lifelong Santa Fean. Before being elected mayor last fall, he served on the Santa Fe City Council for 5 years for District 2 as a District 2 representative. The field of candidates in the last mayoral race were strong and numerous, right? And Michael Garcia proved he was the people's choice indeed. His election as mayor of Santa Fe is the continuation of a public service career that began as an AmeriCorps Vista member and has now spanned nearly 2 decades. Please join me in welcoming Santa Fe's 44th mayor, Michael Garcia.
Thank you, Marty, for those kind words. It truly means a lot. As I was talking earlier with some of your colleagues, I can't believe we're here at this moment. It seems like just 20 short years ago I was in undergrad and I was joining AmeriCorps, and now I get to be the mayor of my hometown. It's sometimes I got to pinch myself. But it's my honor to be with y'all today to welcome y'all on behalf of the city of Santa Fe. It is such a privilege to be here with this amazing institution. An inauguration ceremony is one that is not only a celebration, it's a transition in leadership, but it also offers an opportunity to embrace new growth, hope, and anticipation for what the future holds. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter and continues the proud tradition of this remarkable institution. It is truly, truly an honor that St. John's community is woven into the fabric that is Santa Fe. For over 6 decades, St. John's has provided high-quality education to students from around the world. Our community has benefited from those students, their knowledge, their talents, and I want to make sure that we recognize St. John's commitment to intellectual courage, thoughtful dialogue, and meaningful curriculum, which continues to strengthen our community. President Sterling, as you assume this role, this is at a time when higher education plays a critical and vital role in preparing citizens to think critically, engage respectfully, and lead responsibly. Please know that you have a committed partner, not only in myself, but in the city of Santa Fe, and we stand by and ready to collaborate and celebrate the future achievements of you, your administration, and the students. I will be cheering you on, not only from my office at City Hall, but I'll be here on the campus cheering you on as well. Again, it's truly a privilege and joy to be here with y'all today, celebrating this significant moment. May this inauguration usher in a new season filled with unity, innovation, and continued accomplishment for the greater St. John's family. Again, on behalf of the city of Santa Fe, congratulations. Thank you, everybody.
Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Susan Paulman, and I'm currently serving as interim president of the Annapolis campus, a position I've held since last May. I've been at the college far longer than that, though, as a faculty member on the Annapolis campus since 1997, and most recently, as dean of that campus beginning in 2023. I'm saying all of this to emphasize that I've known about Walter for many years, though I only recently got to know him well personally. I first heard of Walter when I taught a seminar with his father, who I see back there, Mr. Sterling Sr., early in my career as a tutor. For those of you who know Walter Sr., you won't be surprised to hear that I got to know a lot about his family and friends from many genial conversations after seminars. Concerning Walter, I mostly learned that his father's extremely proud of him. Fast forward more than 20 years, and I was suddenly working closely with him in his new role as the president of the Santa Fe campus, and most recently in his role as the interim college president, while I serve as the interim president of the Annapolis campus. I've learned to see how justified his father's pride is. Over the last 2 years, I've seen his determination and care for the community up close. From the first moment of my interim presidency last May, Walter has treated me as a full colleague, though I was completely new to the role. He may not realize it, but he was an example to me of how to approach leadership at St. John's, never forgetting the mission of the college, always vigilant to potential problems on the horizon, and without exception, treating people with dignity, respect, and genuine interest. He has a unique combination of pragmatism and idealism that I've worked hard to learn from. I'm very much looking forward to hearing all the remarks today. I'll just finish mine by saying that I couldn't have asked for a better colleague as head of the Santa Fe campus, someone who brings graciousness, intelligence, incredibly hard work, and a deep appreciation for the college and for both campus communities. So, on behalf of the Annapolis campus, welcome, Walter.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sarah Davis, the Dean of the Santa Fe campus, and it's my pleasure to say a few words this afternoon to celebrate the inauguration of President Walter Sterling. I was hired, sorry, can you hear me? Okay. I was hired as a tutor at the college in 2012 which was Walter's first year as dean. I remember, though he likely doesn't, receiving the call from him in my little house in Berkeley, California, a toddler and 4-year-old swarming around me. I was thrilled to be offered the position, and to be honest, a little scared. I asked Walter what I should do to prepare for the fall. He assured me that I would receive the syllabi for the classes I was teaching and was welcome to do the first few readings in advance, but that, in fact, this was not really necessary. I would have time for that once the year began. As far as preparation was concerned, what mattered most, he said, was moral preparation. He said this with playfulness, a playfulness that also felt entirely serious, something I would discover to be characteristic of Walter. I didn't exactly breathe a sigh of relief, but my heart did quicken. Moral preparation. What kind of place was this? Moral courage is familiar to anyone who has been involved with St. John's College. Students demonstrating math propositions at the board, tutors shedding their academic expertise and admitting when they don't understand something, staff and administrators willing to think outside the box to preserve our unique college ethos, and board members and friends of the college with powerful insight, understanding how important it is to preserve, to stand up for an education like this one. Walter Sterling has braved all these roles: St. John's student, tutor, dean, board member, and now president. It is a gift in this particularly defining moment for higher education to have someone at the helm who understands so deeply from so many vantage points what we do and why we do it. Walter is sober-minded about the challenges the college faces. He leads with a steady calm through often tumultuous waters. And at the same time, he knows and is able to speak powerfully, passionately about the radical importance of the St. John's education in our time. In his address to incoming freshmen, Walter quotes a Greek maxim that they are soon to translate in freshman language, which says, quote, "Noble things are difficult," end quote. And being involved in the project of St. John's College is noble and difficult. We don't give ourselves to St. John's simply because we value great books and seminar-style learning. We do it because we know that educating young people toward freedom, civility, independent thought, and the pursuit of truth is absolutely necessary for them to flourish, and, as is increasingly clear, for the vitality and stability of the world we live in. That quickening I felt on the phone years ago was a response to an invitation, not to a job, but to a demanding, meaningful, and increasingly rare undertaking. Walter has devoted his life to this undertaking in all of its complexity, with incredible fortitude, endurance, and patience. Our two campuses, one in the east and one in the west, have long served as quiet beacons. In these times, many are looking for something to orient them, something serious and humane, beautiful and true. There is worry in such a search, but also hope. We are welcoming a president who understands both and who is prepared to lead with steadiness and resolve to keep the beacons burning. We are honored to welcome Walter Sterling as the president of St. John's College.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pierre Quintana. I serve as the college's director of the Office of Personal and Professional Development, otherwise known as Career Development at other schools. I started with St. John's in 2018 when Mr. Sterling was serving in his second term as dean. It's a privilege to join you today as we celebrate his inauguration. His appointment marks an important new chapter in the life of this institution, one rooted in tradition, yet guided by a forward-looking commitment to the program, our students, our tutors, our staff, and the wider community that we serve. St. John's has long stood as a distinctive presence in New Mexico's higher education landscape. Beyond its intellectual contributions, the college is also an economic and civic partner to the state. Our operations support local jobs, sustain small businesses, and draw students, families, and visitors to Santa Fe from across the country and around the world. In doing so, the college contributes to the vitality of our local economy and affirms New Mexico as a place where rigorous, humanistic education can flourish. But the true strength of St. John's lies not only in its curriculum or its history, it lies in its people. Every day, staff members across campus ensure that the college runs with care, professionalism, and purpose. From finance to facilities, from the library to career services, from the Pritzker Scholars Program to the SAC, our work shapes the environment in which learning happens. Our unwavering dedication to St. John's College makes it possible for students and tutors to engage deeply with the curriculum and with one another. We keep our community strong, nurture its culture, and make the daily work of our mission possible. President Sterling steps into this role at a moment of opportunity. With his leadership and with the continued commitment of our staff, faculty, students, alumni, and friends, St. John's will remain a place where thoughtful inquiry, shared responsibility, and genuine community endure. Congratulations, President Sterling, and thank you all for being part of this historic day.
Kairete omnes, or if your Greek is a little bit rusty, hello everybody. My name is Joel Lowe. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm a senior here at St. John's College. On behalf of the undergraduate and graduate institute student bodies, I'd like to welcome you all to Santa Fe. One of my first interactions with Mr. Sterling was through an event called the Dean's Novum Quadrivium. This was a meeting open to the college where we would run or hike, have coffee, and read a poem. Leave it to a Johnny to give his run club a Latin name and have a reading involved. These meetings captured something that is deeply important to me about St. John's. The examination of our lives here doesn't end when we leave the classroom. The curriculum at St. John's expands to the coffee shop, on the intramural court, in town hall meetings, and small interactions with our peers as we pass through campus. So yes, please, let's read poetry while we run. Last year, when my friend Noah DeLay and I were preparing for our first marathon, we told Mr. Sterling of our plans, and he responded with an email that had 4 clips from the movies Chariots of Fire and Gallipoli. One scene from Gallipoli stuck with me in that race and to this day. In this scene, the main character is training to run the trenches of World War I. He is asked, "What are your legs?" And he replies, "Springs, steel springs." Today, we're at the start of the race. The gun is going off and the crowd is cheering loud. And we should celebrate and be loud on this great day. For a while, the adrenaline will keep you going. And then you'll come to the later miles, when the plans are failing and you're not showing up how you thought you would. This is where the work begins. And so I ask you the question you will have to repeatedly ask yourself through the adventure ahead of you. What are your legs, Mr. Sterling? And as arduous as the journey may become, and as difficult as leading will be, I hope you respond, springs, steel springs. Thank you.
I should have known better than to go after Jolie. Good afternoon. My name is Warren Spector. I'm the chair of the Board of Visitors and Governors. Thank you all for being here to celebrate President Walter Sterling. Over my many years on the board as chair and also as campaign chair, Walter has been an important presence whose talents as an academic leader at the college were widely known to all. But over the last year, I've worked very closely with Walter and have seen a whole new set of talents and skills that will serve him well. Walter understands this college with a depth and breadth that is rare. He is the son of an Annapolis faculty member, a student of both campuses, and a long-serving dean and faculty member here in Santa Fe. He is both a philosopher and a businessman, having a BA from St. John's and an MBA from Notre Dame. His background brings an uncommon ability to understand a multiplicity of perspectives, the faculty, the staffs, and the boards. His comfort with nuance and complexity, and the need to govern with both a delicate and a bold hand cannot be understated. But most importantly, Walter loves the great books, the conversation, the community, and the camaraderie created by this college and what we do here together. He understands clearly that we have something profound to offer those who are seeking for a deeper life, for real connection, for openness to what we don't understand, for a ray of hope at a time when our country so badly needs it. And he is sharing that message, which is our message, with all who will listen, having been published this year in the LA Times, Newsweek, and The Hill, just as a few examples. He has appeared on more podcasts at this point than I can count. His voice is the right voice for our challenged times, and I couldn't be prouder to call him president. Mr. Sterling, if you would please come up. It is now my pleasure to present you with the presidential insignia of St. John's College. This insignia, which takes the form of a chain draped over the president's shoulders, there we go, once we untangle it, includes symbols of the college's distinctive character and history. The chain is composed of books for what is more central to our program than the great books. And at the end of the chain is a medallion featuring the seal of St. John's College. The seal shows 7 open books representing the 7 traditional liberal arts, the trivium of grammar, rhetoric, and logic, and the quadrivium of arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, and music. I'm supposed to know all those without looking. I sort of do. The balance or scale in the center represents modern science. Encircling the symbols is a Latin inscription. Facio liberos, ex liberis libris libraque. I make free adults out of children by means of books and a balance. Walter, may you wear this insignia with honor and purpose, recognizing the faith this community has in you and paying tribute to the incredible legacy that St. John's College will continue under your leadership. Congratulations. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the 8th president of St. John's College in Annapolis.
I definitely have the feeling that I should get out while I'm ahead. But I'm going to run as fast as a leopard instead, Mr. Lowe, as fast as a leopard. Thank you, Warren, and thanks to all the friends and colleagues who have spoken. I am grateful for your goodwill and support in our work together today and each day. And thank you to the chorus. To be Johnny's is, among other things, to sing together. And Mr. Lowe, one could do worse than reciting the Steel Springs mantra every day. So I'm going to keep running, if you will, including you'll be running at your senior oral in just a week or so. Everyone's invited. March 10th, the book of Job. Break a leg. Planning this full weekend of events has been a tremendous amount of work for too many to name. I'm so grateful to all. Today, for this ceremony and celebration, I do want to thank especially my assistant, Natasha Chen, my rock, college's rock, Sarah Llewell, our Senior Director of Communications on the Annapolis campus, and Phil Kaniatobe and the whole team from Buildings and Grounds, and Chuck Tucker for the gallery exhibition celebrating 61 years now in Santa Fe. They all, and many others I'm not naming, have gone far more than the extra mile. Thank you. I want to recognize 3 former presidents who are present today: John Agresto, Mike Peters, and Mark Roosevelt. And Eleanor and Dorothy are with us too. All exemplary stewards of our college and this campus, who left it better and stronger after their season of leadership. Thank you for your presence today and for your good counsel to me over many years. And welcome and thanks to all members of our college community and all our other guests from near and far. It is humbling and a thrill to have you all here. And a special thanks and welcome to you, Mayor Garcia, and to other local civic and educational leaders. Mayor Garcia, please know you have our support in your new office and in your work advancing our city and community. And I might also say welcome back to many of you as we view the reopening of this building as the time for a renewed invitation to our local community to join us on our campus in our transformed coffee shop and bookstore. I'll assert it is the best bookstore with the best views in the country. If you disagree, bring it on. Bring it on. I'm ready. And join us for our lectures, concerts, theater events, classic seminars, and other lifelong learning opportunities available here. Truly, welcome. In my life, when it mattered most, I've been lifted up by the love and support of family and friends, and by extraordinary communities I've had the privilege of being part of for a season of life, where I have worked, studied, or practiced my faith. Some are here, many are not. I hope you all know how grateful I am. I want to thank my father, tutor emeritus and alumnus of this college, who found at St. John's the calling that shaped his life, beginning in Annapolis as a freshman in 1959. He is present today. You always wanted what was best for me, and you opened for me the doors through which I eventually found everything I live by. And I want to honor the memory of my mother, Sandra Hiller Sterling, also a Johnny, class of 1964, the granddaughter of 4 Eastern European Jewish immigrants to the Lower East Side of New York City. It was the unlikely convergence of her and my father's paths at St. John's in Annapolis to which I owe my existence. She died last October 2nd on Yom Kippur. Her life was filled with struggle, but grace and love shone through her struggles. And to Megan, Will, and Luke, you 3 are the great blessing and joy of my life. Thank you for allowing the mission and work of this college to be such a large part of our family's life together. To stand here now, entrusted with the presidency of St. John's College, Santa Fe, is a profound honor and deeply humbling. Last speakers are often said to be standing between their audience and a glass of wine. That may be true today, and increasingly it feels true for me today. But at St. John's, I am standing primarily between you and good conversation. It is the love of logoi that unites us here. Let's get to those conversations soon, but first I will bring my own offering to the banquet. This occasion really is just one part of a full weekend celebrating this college and community and the reopening and rededication of this beautiful building, as you heard, and a celebration especially of our alumni and their accomplishments. Everything I have to say is meant to contribute to this celebration, a celebration of our strengths. I'm going to speak to just 2 things. My convictions, first, that this education is needed now more than ever, and second, that we are and should be ever more at home here in Santa Fe. Many of you do hear me say frequently, this education is needed now more than ever. What do I mean? Our students and alumni benefit from a program introduced in Annapolis in 1937 by Stringfellow Barr and Scott Buchanan as a great renewal of liberal, freeing education, emerging from a broader national movement. Rooted in reading and discussion of classic texts across disciplines, with as much emphasis on mathematics and natural science as on the humanities, with faculty as co-learners and guides, not authorities, this fully integrated four-year program aims at the cultivation of intellect and imagination, the pursuit of truth, and the freedom of the mind. It emerged at a time of global upheaval, when the founders feared that unchecked specialization and pre-professionalization might erode not only such educational ideals, but the foundations of democratic life itself. They rejected the false then and false now, choice between the pursuit of truth, preparation for career, and preparation for citizenship. They believed this education could equip students for all the activities of modern life. A plaque in Weigel Hall quotes Barr, who meant this not at all as metaphor. A college is a small republic, and so is a seminar. This campus opened in 1964 at another moment of upheaval, less than a year after the assassination of President Kennedy. The leaders at that time affirmed explicitly that reasoned conversation across difference was, in a deep sense, the only alternative to violence. Today we live in another time of technological disruption and political division. There is widespread concern about the effects of social media and digital saturation on young minds, on all minds, the consequences of what some have aptly called attention capitalism, and now anxiety about the further colonization of our minds and agency by AI. There is also a growing allergy to hyperpolarization, hyperpartisanship, and the fraying of our civic fabric. The simple yet profound practice at the heart of this education is a small group sitting around a table, real faces, real voices, engaged in sustained dialogue and shared inquiry across disagreement, with a tangible, unhackable book on the table that rewards and deepens our attention rather than fragmenting it. These practices cultivate what is called deep literacy and equip students for the hard pluralism our civic life requires. Today, this looks less like preservation of an antique education and more like an urgently needed remedy, an antidote to the greatest risks of our technological and political moment. Our college is indeed small, but these practices should not be rare. We do not need 1,000 St. John's colleges, but we do need many more institutions realigning their incentives to enable their students to do more of what our students practice constantly. We are, of course, at a time of intense pressure for higher education, economic, demographic, political, technological. We face those challenges too at St. John's. They are general, generic, but our strengths are rare and exceptional, and they will carry us forward. Not easily, but because we are willing to make the practical and often hard decisions necessary to enable this community to flourish. Our aims are clear and needed, and our strengths continue to draw extraordinary philanthropic support, support that sustains our endowment, invests in our campus homes, lowers barriers for students drawn to this education, and launches student internships and career pathways. We will continue to reach out to and rely on friends, supporters, and political representatives who understand the increasing value and importance of this place and this education. At the same time, we see signs of renewal well beyond our campuses, in phone-free school movements, in the ever-expanding classical learning movement, in the growing array of civic thought institutes at universities across the country, in renewed interest in the classics, and books in general, and the cultivation of deep literacy. In the increasingly voiced and urgent question, can democracy survive in a post-literate society? We hear it from leaders in technology who argue that precisely as AI grows more powerful, the human capacities cultivated by liberal education become more, not less, important. And we hear it abroad from our friends and partners, from the eloquence of Mayor Yuk in Korea to China to the Netherlands, and on and on. In this country, these may seem like cross or countercurrents to the mainstream, a mainstream that has long been perceived as increasingly unfriendly to these ideals. But these countercurrents are growing and converging, and they will continue to grow if we as educators press ourselves to respond to the urgent needs of this moment and to offer, simply, the education our students deserve. These movements extend the reach and responsibility of our college as St. John's continues to be what it has been since 1937, a national, now international, seed bank for deep educational renewal. Let me turn now closer to home. I have described my vision of St. John's College as founded on the program, at home in Santa Fe, and also in Annapolis, and reaching out to the world. As president of the Santa Fe campus, the office which I officially assume today, I am most anxious to support our being at home in Santa Fe. We celebrate now more than 6 decades on this campus. From the beginning, we felt we had found the right home here, captured in a New Mexican headline announcing the new campus, "The feeling is mutual," linking the spirit of Santa Fe to that of St. John's. In these 60-plus years, we have benefited enormously from our home in Santa Fe, from the beauty, cultural richness, and extraordinary community of people in this place. And we have hoped to engage ever more deeply with our neighbors and community. Today, I want to stress our commitment to being good stewards and citizens of this place, worthy of the public trust. We now provide tuition-free master's degrees for New Mexico's K-12 teachers with financial need, full tuition scholarships for students from families under $75,000 in annual income, there's more, my friend, there's more. Reduced in-state tuition for New Mexico residents, Pell matching grants, funded professional development for New Mexico's teachers, and additional scholarships to students from the region through our Southwest Scholars Program. Through sustained commitments to access, ever-expanding local partnerships, funded internship pathways for our students, and an ever-growing body of alumni living and working in this state, the most, by far, per capita of any state in the country. The life of this college is intertwined with the life of this city, state, and region. 2 recent gifts exemplify, I believe, and strengthen our roots here. First, it's my pleasure this weekend to formally announce and launch what we are christening the Buchanan Forum, named in honor of Scott Buchanan and his expansive vision, made possible by a generous $2 million gift from our friends David and Christine Bernick. They are here today. Thank you. Supporting 5 years of programming, the forum will expand the reach of the college's founding vision, worldly engagement grounded in liberal education. I'm going to say that again, worldly engagement grounded in liberal education. Through lectures, conferences, visiting faculty, institutional partnerships, and sustained conversation with leading thinkers. David and Christine, we are deeply grateful. This weekend's 3 public lectures and panels, beginning this evening with our conversation with Shiloh Brooks, constitute the first convenings of the Buchanan Forum. Second, I'm honored to announce the creation of the Gray Roosevelt Scholarship Fund for the Santa Fe campus, catalyzed by a $5 million anonymous challenge gift. Now, with additional support from board leaders and other friends of this campus, having grown to $12 million and expected to reach $15 million. This fund will provide critical scholarship support and financial stability in the coming years. Named by our challenge match donor in honor of alumnus and board member John Gray and President Emeritus Mark Roosevelt, this fund further strengthens our commitment to access and affordability here in Santa Fe and ensures that students drawn to this education need not be turned away by the barrier of cost. Mark, you continue to be a tireless champion of the college and this campus. The challenge match gift and the broader scholarship effort would not have been possible without your steadfast advocacy and leadership. I am deeply grateful. Each of these extraordinary gifts, funds, and so many others speak to the devotion of our friends and neighbors here in Santa Fe and their confidence that this college and this campus have an outsized importance here and beyond. We do face challenges at St. John's. The seal that Warren read, that you see before me, from 1937, proudly speaks of making free individuals by means of books and a balance. Our older seal, dating to 1793, reminds us that no way is impassable to courage. We as educators need that message today more than ever. And we should aspire to have the courage of our convictions. And I commit to doing everything I can to sustain, support, and fight for the flourishing of this education, this college, this campus, and this extraordinary community of people who give it life. Still, any presidency of a college is, in the end, a brief chapter. The conversation at the heart of this college will long endure. Long after any of us leave this hall, including for the last time, students will gather around the seminar table. They will open these inexhaustible books. They will wrestle with the deepest questions and be challenged to answer them for themselves. They will struggle, and through the struggle, they will flourish. They will acquire the difficult, ennobling freedom that genuine education makes possible. And they will find great joy in achieving, with friends and in this community, independence of mind, seriousness of purpose, and a sense of belonging to a larger human adventure. That is the quiet miracle, the quiet wonder of this place. May we preserve and strengthen it. May we remain worthy of it. And now, let us return to the conversation. St. John's forever. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And now, I'd like to invite the St. John's Chorus to lead us in a St. John's favorite, Palestrina Sicut Cervus. Before they do, this song has been sung by our community on both campuses for decades, as most of you know. When their performance ends, please stay seated while they recess out of the auditorium, followed by the platform party, and then join us for a reception just down the hallway. We also invite you to visit the art gallery down the hall, where we have revised our 60th anniversary exhibit, which explores St. John's history here in Santa Fe. And now, enjoy the St. John's Chorus.
See shall we